Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Saratoga on Wednesday. Race number 2, it's the $100,000 Rick Violette Stakes for 2-year-olds, New York breds going 6 furlongs on the main track. It's a nice card to kick off the week at Saratoga. Get involved with a DRF Bets account. Sign up, learn how to access $150 in risk-free wagers. Let's meet the field for race number 2, kicking off the 50-cent early pick 5 at Saratoga on Wednesday. And Mike, the number 1, the Italian-American, still a maiden, but he's open stakes placed. Second in the Tremont last time out, and that was a race where you had to be on the lead, you had to be nearest the inside. The Italian-American came with a wide run. At least he was making up ground against a nice horse named Four Left. But that race has so far come back pretty weak.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's run pretty well in both of his starts so far. His running style is not ideal for these races. Obviously, you don't want to be last and trying to pass the entire field, but he gets more distance this time. I thought he ran fine in the Tremont. He did save ground early in that race, which was a good thing, but he had to come wide for the stretch. I thought he was a good second. I thought he was a good second first time out. I wonder in this short field if he gets the setup that he needs, though.
Trainer Gary Contessa had mentioned that he was going to run this horse in the Sanford. He didn't like the way some blood work came back. But here he is in the Rick Violette. And here's a formulator fact for Contessa. Over the past 5 years, 2-year-old dirt sprinters off a 31 to 44-day layoff, 0 for 22. I think this one has some ability, but I agree with you. I'm a little bit concerned about the pace. The number 2, Listen to Your Heart, went right to the top in his career debut for Christophe Clement, and he scored at $34. He really pulled off a shocker that day, and his speed makes him very dangerous in here.
Yeah, it does. I liked his debut, too. You know, this horse has a lot of sprint and stakes quality horses on the bottom side of his pedigree, and he ran well first time out. I liked his speed. I know he didn't take much money in there, Dan, but he looked pretty green to me. I thought he was staying on pretty well at the end of that race. I liked just about everything about his debut. I think he's a main contender in this race.
And in this short field, it's nice to know he has that good amount of early speed. We take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. Listen to Your Heart. We expect to be fairly close up, and we don't expect the pace to be very fast. But again, I would advise handicappers to handicap the Pace Projector with 2-year-old races because, again, we have very limited data as to how they're going to run. The 3 is Mission Wrap It Up, and I really liked the performance Mission Wrap It Up gave first time out. How couldn't you? He won by about 10 lengths. He paid 12 to 1. It's nice to see Bruce Brown with a good 2-year-old. I'd like this horse to do well, and I think he can show some speed under Dylan Davis.
I think you might see a little more speed this time. You know, the thing about his debut is he just didn't break that great from the gate, but once he got into his stride, I liked the way that he kept up. He kept those leaders in range. He ran right by them in the stretch. I was really taken by his debut, Dan. I'm with you. I feel like if he breaks better this time, you might find him right up there on the pace.
The number 4, Sky of Hook, was another long shot debut winner. This one for Rudy Rodriguez. He paid almost 12 to 1 in his debut. In watching that race, he beat the Italian-American. It was one of those rare 5 furlong dashes where the pace just didn't hold up.
It's true. That pace fell apart. This horse had a little bit of a jump on the Italian-American, got through on the rail, and he was able to hold on at the end. There's nothing wrong with the race he ran, Dan. This race probably won't set up that well for him, though. Even though we beat the Italian-American, I'd probably rather have the other horse this time. But listen, this horse is going to be a much better price once again.
And never discount Rudy Rodriguez. Let's take a look at this formulator fact. Past 5 years, 2-year-old debut winners returning in their second start in a dirt sprint, 33% winners and a $4.35 ROI. Let's take a look at our top selections in this race. I'm going to go with a horse that is not the likeliest winner, to be sure, will likely be the longest shot on the board, and that's the number 5, Torres Del Paine. Let's talk about the negatives about Torres Del Paine first. He is simply turf bred. There really is not a lot of dirt in this pedigree at all, being by Caraconti. He comes out of a slow turf race at Laurel, and he doesn't have a lot of early speed, but I like the way he finished that time at Laurel. I think there's something here for Torres Del Paine. I don't believe this is the strongest field in the world. He'll come running late. This is basically a stab. I think Listen to Your Heart is the horse to catch and beat. I'd use him and Torres Del Paine.
Yeah, it's interesting that you picked this horse. I didn't realize that until we got started here. I took a long look at him, too. I really liked his debut. I do think he's a turf horse, so maybe there's taking a shot in here. He's a horse I want to follow down the line, Dan, because I really do think he's going to turn out to be a good horse. I don't think he's a dirt horse, but we'll find out about that, I guess. I like Mission Wrap It Up. I really liked his debut. I think he will show more speed this time, assuming he breaks. I just feel like he makes a lot of sense in this race, and I really like that first start.
You're going with the 3, Mission Wrap It Up. Big buyer win for Bruce Brown first time out. Give me numbers.
I just went 3, 2, 1 in here. I took the dirt horses.
I'm going 5, 2, and 3. Take a shot with Torres Del Paine. Think listen to your heart, though, might be tough to run down for the dangerous Clement Barn. It's $100,000 Rick Violette Stakes. Race number 2 at Saratoga on Wednesday. Kicks off the 50-cent early pick 5. Get involved with that DRF Bets account. Learn how to access $150 in risk-free bets upon sign-up. Approximate post time for race number 2 at the Oral Spa on Wednesday, 1:25 Eastern. Best of luck.